Let's talk about power flow through a simple planetary gear set. I have my planetary members, the sun gear in red, the carrier in yellow with the planetary pinions, and then my ring gear in blue. So tracing power flow through a simple planetary gear set, is pretty straightforward. We just follow the carrier. Is it the output? And I have gear reduction and an underdrive condition. Is it the input? And I have an overdrive condition. Is it being held in reverse? Or am I driving two of my planetary members at the same time at the same speed? That would give me a 1-to-1 ratio where everything just locks together. The planetary pinions don't spin, they don't walk around the sun, and whatever speed I have going in is the exact same speed that I have coming out. So let's just go across the chart. So if my sun gear is the reactionary member being held, and my ring gear is the input, then my output is the carrier, and you can see how that ring gear is traveling at a faster RPM than the carrier is. Watch those lugs pass by the notches in the side of the carrier. Now if I hold my ring gear and spin my sun, my carrier is still the output, and this time you can see that sun gear is traveling a lot faster than the carrier assembly, so this is even more of a gear reduction state. Going on to overdrive, if I hold my ring gear and drive my carrier, because in this state the carrier will always be the input, you can see that sun gear travels much faster than the carrier. This really isn't that much different than that underdrive state we just saw, where the sun gear was the input and the carrier was the output. The same situation mechanically is happening, it's just the carrier is now the input instead of it being the output when we were in that underdrive state. If I hold my sun gear and drive my carrier, you can see that the carrier is driving that ring gear, and the ring gear is spinning faster than the carrier, so we still have an overdrive state. We're losing torque here, but we're gaining speed. If I hold the carrier, I'm going to get reverse. So if my ring gear is the input, you see the sun gear travels in the opposite direction. Ring gear is going clockwise, sun gear is counterclockwise, and vice versa. If I drive my sun gear, then my ring gear will travel in the opposite direction. And then for direct drive, if I drive any two of my components at the same time, at the same speed, the gear set locks up. I have a 1-to-1 ratio. My planetary pinions do not walk around the sun, and it's basically like as if there was just a shaft there. So the gearing doesn't really matter at that point. The only thing the chart doesn't show is a neutral condition, and it's kind of hard to duplicate on a bench top because there's going to be friction. Right? If I don't have a reactionary member, meaning nothing's being held, if I spin a component, I would have neutral. So let's say I just want to hold this piece now. Right? You see how if this carrier wasn't actually hooked up to an output, if I don't have anything to hold anything still, I'm not going to end up with a gear ratio. I'm going to end up with neutral, and that's basically what's happening when we're in park or neutral. None of our applied components are on, so the engine's spinning, the input shaft of the transmission is spinning, but we got no output. And that is our simple planetary power flow.